I'm a daily listener.
Matt, okay. So
Matt, we release weekly.
Matt, we do,
but I listen every day.
We do a weekly release. We do a cold open, Matt. So when we do the cold open, we're going to talk for a little bit, and even though it's recording, like it's not like the main part of the podcast.
Sure.
And we try to find the funniest part, and we make it happen organic.
And it has to be you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You're the
You
guest.
got to be the funniest part.
I do?
The guest
Right
is
now.
always the funniest.
Oh, no, I'm not. All right.
Odie flew all the way for you to tell a joke.
All the way. And you told great jokes last night, like the Danny Bankus joke and everything.
Oh, my God. In the podcast studio, we should mention today, because we're in a studio.
We are in a studio.
Live.
Live.
For the season finale of season 0. We're live right now. This is live. We're recording this live.
All right.
In the podcast studio, our good friend DT Bankus.
Down to Bankus.
Down to Bankus is here. Say hi. He's here.
He's here.
He's here. Matt,
Yes.
what do you got? Joke time. Go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
that's the cold open. All right. Just
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
still recording. Here's what I want to pitch. So, I know we've been recording this separately this entire time, Odie. This seems like a very important
I'm like,
speech.
am I in trouble? I feel like I'm at the principal's office.
No, I want to get your permission to do something because we're
My
in person,
permission?
but I feel
Okay.
like we should still do it
All
for we have a tradition here.
Yes, we do.
All right,
We do.
so we clap on 3.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see if we can
Yes.
do it at the same
All
time.
right, okay.
Ready? 3. You gotta do it too.
Am I in too?
You do the clap. You're on the podcast.
Let's
yeah.
go.
We
Okay.
go 3, 2, 1. Wow.
Wow.
Best it's ever
Perfect.
been.
I wonder
Season
why.
finale. We crushed it. Yes. Welcome back to another episode of the Unpop Podcast. It's an unpopular podcast about pop culture potpourri from Chef Odie and Captain Kevin. I am your captain. Soy el capitán todo siempre Kevin Miner. He, him. With me, as always, is...
Odie Matthews, they, them.
And with us...
Matt Pfeifer, he, him.
Yes.
Our wonderful
Nailed it.
guest.
Perfect.
Let's go.
That's amazing. And this week we prepped Matt because
Yes.
we brought Matt on
Yep.
for a special
'Cause we're
topic.
here. Yep.
And we're going to announce what that topic is. I'm going to count down from 3 to 1
Yep.
again, and then we're going to say the topic for the
See
podcast.
if we can nail being in unison
Yep.
again.
All right. Ready?
That's the key here.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Dwayne
The Rock Johnson.
You suck,
You-
Matt.
What?
What? Were you going to say something? We got to say the topic of the podcast at the same time. This is what we brought you. We brought you.
I
on
was
going to
say
about
Nicolas
Dwayne.
Cage. Is that not what we're doing?
No, we brought you on to talk about Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
His movies.
We watched his movies.
All of his movies.
We lost a lot of his movies.
We've watched every single
We
one
told
of his
you about
movies.
this.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did.
We sent you an email.
What did Odie tell you?
What was the email address?
Matt the Amazing Pfeifer at gmail.com.
Oh, that goes to my secretary, and she's...
And I called her, and she
I
said you got
sent
the
one
email.
to Matt the Amazing Piper at gmail.com.
Wait, yeah, how did you spell Pfeifer? That's the first question.
F-I-I-E-R. I think I left some letters out.
It sounds like every interaction with my bank.
I want you. You go to the bank and they can't even spell it.
They're like, wait, say that again? Hold on, slow down. I was like, I just said PF. They're like, whoa.
Yeah. Okay. So on the Unpop podcast, we don't do who are you, how are you, what do you do, right? We don't.
Unfortunate.
Do that. We know who you are.
That was a great bit.
Well, we know who you are. We said it.
Well, you guys had
we know
guests all
how
the
you
time.
are. You're here. You're amazing.
Makes sense.
I am amazing.
Yeah.
Are you?
So I guess we'll
so
just
glad
be
you guys
like,
are
Matt, what do you do?
I guess. Are we really? You're really gonna put me on the spot and do that right now? Is that okay. What do I do? Okay.
You've never been on the podcast.
Well, I hear through the grapevine you guys talk a lot about me, and I just gotta
never mention
say,
you.
that being famous is hard.
It is.
It's very hard because
Famous
people don't
crypto man.
understand you.
Yep.
Right? But they talk a lot about you.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm done. All right. So
That was like a Taylor Swift moment right there.
That was
you were
that
really
was deep.
channeling
Mhm.
your
That's real
inner
deep.
folklore. Right
look, I'm
there.
trying to keep up with the yes and that is your entire podcast. Okay?
Odie
and it's
said
early.
You want to do a podcast? I said yes, and that's it.
And
yeah.
then I said yes, and we've just been yes, anding since.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Unpop, yes, and we do it every week. Yes, and it's just been ever since.
Okay, so you asked me a question that I always have a trouble answering to people because number one, it's always ever changing, and number two, it's like not the usual course that people take, I think.
Yeah.
And Odie knows a bit about this too.
A lot of people would assume from your voice that you do radio.
You should do radio.
I have heard this, although I'm a little nasally, generally.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Anyway.
All right. So TLDR on what I do. I'm a freelance software engineer, and I build cool websites and applications and viral experiences on the internet. And I do it mainly in the Web3 blockchain space. So I take regular ass websites. We can swear on this podcast,
Yes.
right? I
It's
gotta
not
say
family
they're
friendly.
You
Okay,
just
good.
said assets?
ass.
Oh, well, that's fine.
I said ass.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
You can
I
say
take
whatever you want.
I take regular websites generally and integrate crypto wallets or blockchain backends to them and cool, viral, fun, pleasant experiences on the internet. That's kind of my thing.
And what does that have to do with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Yeah, can you tie that in for us, please?
Yeah, sure. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is Satoshi Nakamoto. Not a lot of people know this, but he
What?
actually created Bitcoin. Fun fact.
Dwayne "The Rock"
Wait.
Johnson made Bitcoin?
That's
Why
I-
he didn't call it Pebble
That's what
coin
you
is
heard.
beyond me.
Is that what you just said, though? Dwayne Rock Johnson literally started Bitcoin?
That's what people are saying.
Should
and
I
as
Google this?
in,
Should I fact check it live?
You should fact check
All right,
it live.
You keep talking. I'm going to
Keep
fact
talking
check.
about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Matt.
Yeah, because that's the whole topic has to tie into him and how much we love or hate him.
I'm actually.
How do you feel about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
I'm actually a big fan of Dwayne.
I might
My
change your
boy,
mind.
my boy, Big D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, so I don't know why you said it was The
He
Rock.
said he is Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah. Satoshi Nakamoto is a
it's like
pseudonym.
a Batman Bruce Wayne thing.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
gonna
pseudonym.
Google
It's like a Black Adam thing.
Nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, but
I know who Satoshi Nakamoto
Who is it?
He's the guy who made Bitcoin.
I mean, I
You
Googled.
set me up.
That's
man.
a dad
I mean,
joke
you
if I've
can't
ever heard
even-
one, man.
Oh God. All right. No, but seriously. So,
I-
what?
I Googled, is he The Rock? And I went to images, and I just want to point out that this is the first image that pops up.
What is it? That's amazing.
I typed
don't
in
even
is
know what that
Satoshi
is.
Nakamoto The Rock, and
That's
this is what
a
came
portrait
up.
of him.
Damn.
That's a
beautiful.
portrait of
So
him
that's what
getting
he
ready
looks
to play
like.
with his jazz band.
Anyways.
So Matt, you and I used to host a podcast called the Upstate Coffee Collective. I'm pointing at the sign for it right now because we had a
Great
sign and
sign.
everything.
Yeah.
And then we got so busy, you in Web3 and crypto
Mhm.
and NFTs and whatever else comes along with Web3 and crypto,
Mhm.
and me in corporate America,
Yep.
that we didn't have enough time to roast coffee and package it in your basement and sell it to people and do a podcast and all the other things that we were doing during the pandemic and a little while after.
Correct.
Okay. And then you told Odie, who wanted to do a podcast, that they should contact me,
Yes.
and they did,
Yes.
and here we are.
I know, and I'm kind of
And here we are.
I'm kind of proud of that genesis because you guys really did just like take it and roll with it.
And now you're taking my spot. Welcome to the podcast, Matt. You're the new co-host.
God damn.
That means you have
We
to be
tricked
the
you.
chef.
You're now the chef.
Tell
I'll give
me,
you
what
my
do you know
recipe
about
book.
potpourri?
You put it on steak, right?
Potpourri.
Perfect.
Potpourri.
Yeah.
Potpourri steak.
What I've
That's
heard
what
about
Odie does.
potpourri is that
Hate
if
that.
you add another O, it's poopery, and then you
Oh!
spray it in your toilet.
Yep.
Next question.
Next question.
I don't have any more. That's,
Okay,
no more
time to wrap
questions.
it up.
Okay, you might have thought we were joking when we said we were going to talk about
Oh, but
Dwayne
we
The
are.
Rock Johnson, but we actually are going to talk about. So, how many of Dwayne The Rock Johnson's movies have you seen? And yes, I am going to keep saying
I
his
figured.
full name.
I was gonna ask you, but I figured.
I'm going to keep
I'm just gonna let
saying
you
it.
do
I
it.
saw the look on your face.
I'm gonna call him Dwayne, and Matt, you should call him Mr. Johnson, and then
I'll
Kevin, you call him Dwayne
so
The Rock
people
Johnson.
know who's talking.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
So Dwayne, what do you think about Dwayne's movies?
Yes, what do you think about Dwayne The Rock Johnson's movies?
This definitely won't get old.
Which one is your
God.
favorite?
You know, Mr. Johnson has done a wide variety of nationally acclaimed flicks. And
Yeah.
And I
Which
have to
one's your
say-
favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite Dwayne movie?
I prefer any of the movies that Mr. Johnson. I can't.
Keep going.
I can't. It's-
No, you have to
it's
now.
really hard.
Yes, and Matt.
I prefer any of the movies that he's in with Kevin Hart. You know, those sort of more comedy.
Jumanji.
centric-
We're gonna talk
Yeah,
about one of
Central
those. We're gonna
Intelligence.
talk about
Great.
2 of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask a really important question
Yes.
here. I tend to get Dwayne Johnson mixed up with his alter ego in the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, Hobbs and or Shaw.
He's one of them.
He's
for
one
sure.
of them. He's either
which
Vin
one?
Diesel.
Oh, I was like,
I
Oh,
get Vin
you get-
Diesel and Dwayne the Rock Johnson mixed
one is
up
an
all
egg,
the time.
They
and the
would
other
both-
is Dwayne.
They would both be upset about that.
We're gonna talk about the contracts though, because
We
they
will
have an
get there.
interesting. There's an interesting story with Vin Diesel and Dwayne that I want to talk about.
Odie, why don't you take us on a trip? Because here's how this came up, Matt. And this is the season finale.
Yep.
Because during the course of season 0, and this was all just a precursor for season 1 of this podcast to come out, I
This is
have
just one big.
I have
prequel.
managed to allow Odie enough time, space, and information to recognize for themselves that 1, they kind of don't like The Rock,
Mhm.
and 2, they kind of don't like DC movies.
Mhm.
And The Rock,
Is both
Dwayne
of
The
those.
Rock Johnson, famously just recently did a
Black
DC
Adam.
movie, Black Adam,
Black
which
Adam.
bombed.
It bombed.
Yes, and there's like an arc that both have taken,
Mhm.
but we're gonna focus specifically
On Dwayne.
on Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And so I want Odie to take us a little bit through the history and career of this man. And if there's anything that you want to chime in on, feel free.
Deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so what I really wanted to do more than anything was see if we could pinpoint in the Dwayne's career when he turns from wrestler actor to just somebody that wants to be a movie star. And I also want to say this at the top, and Kevin and I talked about this. You have 3 wrestler turned actors, right? You have Dave Bautista, John Cena, and Dwayne.
Right.
Just Dwayne.
Can
Mr.
I throw,
Johnson,
Can I
yeah.
throw an honorable mention, Hulk Hogan,
Oh yeah,
for
definitely.
Mr. Mom?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Hulk
for
Hogan. I can see
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He
there's
was
been a
Mr. Mom.
Wasn't there a couple other wrestlers that did the Expendables movies?
Hulk Hogan also did like acting. He had like the Hogan family, Hogan rules, right? Hogan's
Oh,
rules,
yeah.
right?
Chris
Mhm.
Evans
Remember
is
that?
playing him in a biopic.
Chris Evans is playing
I mean,
Hulk
Chris
Hogan.
Hemsworth. Chris
I was
Hemsworth.
like, what?
Wrong, Chris.
Weird pick.
Um,
All right.
But out of those wrestlers turned actors, you know, I would say Dave Bautista is the best actor. He's got the best acting chops. He's been in so many good movies that people underestimate him.
And not only that, when he's just in like even a scene, like
Yeah, he
Blade
eats
Runner,
it. He eats it
2049,
up.
right?
Yeah.
Blade Runner, like that opening scene with Ryan Gosling. Remember that opening scene with Ryan Gosling?
I never saw
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner.
2049.
You guys are gonna hold on. Can
They
I
fight, and it's great.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And then Dave Bautista says the line that like just sets in motion the entire plot of the movie.
He has really tiny
great.
glasses.
All right. Yep. keep
How
going.
tiny?
Like very tiny.
Like
Like the size of my thumb.
you
not my thumb,
feel
that's my thumb.
they're so small that when you're watching the movie, you're like, is the director pranking him?
Yeah, it feels like Dennis Villeneuve was just like, here's the tiniest glasses for your big head.
These glasses are very small for you, sir.
And then
All right.
No, I just have
What-
to. I just have
yeah.
to. I have to make one statement, which is, it's good. You're gonna have a lot of trouble finding movies that I've watched.
well, at least if you know about them.
I know about them, so I could
Okay.
go, oh sure.
Yeah.
But I,
Yes, and.
yeah,
I
yes,
thought
and.
you were going to be an expert.
Yeah, I thought you
On
knew
Dwayne The
everything
Rock
about
Johnson.
Dwayne.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yep.
Well, Dave Bautista is definitely the
I
best.
refuse to let the energy of this podcast
I'm not-
lull.
I'm-
Keep going.
Yeah. John Cena, in my opinion, is the funniest. I think John Cena is the funniest.
Agreed. Yeah. As exhibited in
All of his movies.
but the
All of his movies.
but the series Peacemaker.
Oh yeah, 100%. Peacemaker.
Hilarious.
He is the best part about Fast and Furious until spoiler alert, he
Yep.
died. He's been in a lot of good movies. Blockers,
Yep.
where all the parents try to stop their teenagers from having sex.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Amazing. Hold on, I just want to check in with our good buddy DT Bankus. DT Bankus.
He doesn't like that opinion.
John Cena, hilarious, yeah? Okay, not funny.
All
Got
right,
it. We've got a
We're getting-
contrasting opinion.
We're
An
getting no
unpop
from
opinion.
the
That's
no
okay.
from the audience.
A
okay?
All right, no from the audience.
Live
All right.
studio audience. Okay, so then that brings us into Dwayne. Right now, everybody
Dwayne
knows
The Rock
that
Johnson.
Dwayne got his start mainly with the Mummy, Scorpion King, right?
Yes.
That's basically
That's
where
right.
he
That
started.
was the first, like,
Yes.
he burst through that wall, and it was a scorpion man chimera of
Terrible
epic
CGI.
proportions. And then Brendan Fraser beat him up.
With his
Yes.
fists?
Partially.
Yeah, kind of.
He also got shot at a little
Hit
bit.
with a stick.
I think he eventually just falls down a chasm. I feel like when
Yeah,
you
he
have
does.
an
He falls down a chasm.
insurmountable godlike figure that's going against like normal humans, it has to fall into
All
a chasm.
the mummies
Yeah.
fall
A
in a chasm.
seemingly bottomless chasm.
Yes.
Actually,
That is the only way to get. Is the
That-
chasm just a metaphor for a sarcophagi?
I guess. Anyways, Matt's confused.
Matt.
Okay, so we'll
He's doing the mental math.
Mental math.
Sarcophagi.
I'm like, I think that's two sarcophaguses.
Well, I mean,
Sarcophagi?
just for sarcophagi in general, right? Because they're the mummies themselves are. It seems like their biggest weakness is a vacuous space which might hold a body.
their biggest weakness is where they're
They're
buried.
kryptonite, if you may.
Here's the thing about a really, really deep hole.
Oh.
Is,
Do you
It's
tell?
everybody's weakness.
it's everybody's weakness.
Unless you can fly, it's everybody's weakness. Maybe that's why The Rock did Black Adam eventually. He was like, I'm sick
so
of these old deep
when I get to
holes.
the time period where that hole kicks off, there's actually a lot that goes into the Black Adam thing,
Okay.
which I think is funny. But, anyways.
Mm.
Okay.
So after Scorpion King, he does Walking Tall, he does Rundown, he does a fantastic movie called Tales from the Southland. Oh, no, wait.
It's Southland Tales.
Southland Tales.
We watched this.
I know.
You watched it with
I'm
me.
trying really hard to get it
Was
out
this
of my
wa-
brain.
Was this what you guys saw yesterday? Southland
No,
Tales?
we watched it last week. Odie and I both got high and watched Southland Tales, which I've seen many times. It's like, are you familiar with the movie The Room? How people will like hate watch
Oh.
The Room.
I love hate watching The Room.
Okay,
that's what this
Southland
is.
Tales is my The Room.
Yeah.
Got
And
it.
so Odie and
worth
I
it.
watched Southland Tales, which begins with Justin Timberlake prophesizing the end of the world.
Mm.
Yes. He's in it.
JT?
He's in it many
He's in it.
times.
Um,
He's the narrator, if you may.
I didn't know that.
All right.
Anyways, and then he does like Doom, right? And he does the game plan where he plays the football player.
Okay,
He does.
Odie, real quick, Doom. What do you think? What's
Bad.
your take on Doom?
Bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
All of the Doom movies are bad.
But okay, Doom came out. Did it come out before or after John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars with Ice Cube? Because I feel like The
Doom
Rock
was
just
2005. So
okay. So I feel like The Rock just didn't get cast in John Carpenter's Ghost of
Oh,
Mars with
probably.
Ice Cube, right? And Ice Cube got the role, and then that movie's actually like not that bad and had a lot of practical stunts and stuff. And then Doom came along, and they were like, "We're gonna one up him with all the CGI," and it failed. And like the end of the movie, very famously, just looks like you're playing the game Doom.
Yep.
Like it's like from The Rock's perspective, and he's got the BFG and everything. He's
Sure.
just blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Right. Go on.
Okay, so this brings us to the pinnacle point in Dwayne's career. 2010. The Other Guys, right?
Yes.
Very famously, him and Samuel L. Jackson are the experienced cops in the beginning. That,
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Jump
Dancing
off.
in Hightower.
Yeah. They
Yes.
jump off a building into bushes.
Have you seen The Other Guys?
Spoiler alert if you haven't.
Thoughts?
Adam McKay film. It's
Will
from-
Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg.
Yep. The
Eva
guy-
Oh,
the
yeah,
guy
yeah,
who's
yeah,
the
yeah.
Banksman.
Wow, yeah.
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 So
Okay.
that, to me, because he has a small cameo, but everyone's like, oh, shit, that's The Rock, and that's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
That's his, okay, he's made it. He's a star now. He's
Yep.
done a lot of movies. He's got like a decade of his career, because 2001 to 2010, like about a
Yes.
decade, right? So he's got that like status where he shows up in a movie for briefly, and people are like, oh, that's him.
Uh-huh.
This is what, in my opinion, starts his trajectory to getting to the mountain and then falling from the mountain.
Yes. Okay. I like that you said that. I want to add this. As you've been mentioning these things, I have noted that in each of these movies, he either falls into or is perilously close to falling into a chasm or pit of some kind or off a cliff.
Yeah.
Right. And then actually, since you're talking about this as a turning point, he falls off. He willingly jumps off a building,
building.
and the other guys and dies.
Yeah.
Visibly.
He doesn't die in a lot of movies.
And I think as we go forward, we'll find that he's just running away from the inevitable cliff of his own career. Go on.
Okay. That's a good metaphor. The inevitable cliff of his own career.
I can't tell if I missed this or not.
I think
I'm
you
not
did.
sure.
I think you did.
Go on.
Good to be back.
All right, so we're gonna skip forward to the point that I wanted to
We're
get
going
to.
to skip 4 movies.
So after that, he does
4 movies.
He takes Channing Tatum's spot in G.I. Joe.
So lame.
That's the okay. So now this is important.
Yes.
He takes Channing Tatum's spot in a G.I. Joe franchise. This
Yes.
starts my problem with The Rock of him taking over franchises and then tanking them.
Yes.
With the exception of Fast and Furious, but that's different.
Yep.
Then he does Journey 2,
Yep.
replaces Brandon Fraser.
Yep.
Right? It's around the time, and I marked it here, after Pain and Game and after he's done 2 Fast and Furious movies.
Yep.
In 2015, my opinion, his downfall starts with San Andreas, the 2015 disaster film.
About California opening up into a giant chasm that he might fall into.
Exactly, Kevin.
Okay.
Exactly. We're on
Back
it.
to the chasm.
It's only going to
I'm
go up
telling you,
from
I'm
there.
gonna weave this thread, man.
Okay, so now this is why I say that this is mostly where his movies after this feel like cash grabs, with the exception of a few. And I want to make that clear. I'm not saying that all of his movies are.
Okay.
Let's just go. I'm going to speed run up until today.
Yes.
And you tell me how many of these movies at the end are good.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Central Intelligence, Moana,
Bad.
Fate of the Furious.
Oh, no, Moana
Moana's
was
one of my,
good.
Okay.
Moana's one of my favorite movies.
No,
but he's not the
he's
reason that
doing-
movie's
okay,
good.
go on.
Baywatch,
Bad.
Rampage,
Bad.
Skyscraper,
Extra bad.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle,
No,
Great.
good. Actually,
Not
good
bad.
movie.
Great.
Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. Bad.
Eh.
Bad. He does briefly the TV show Ballers. I've never seen it. I can't
Oh
speak.
no, he was on Ballers like the whole time.
Oh,
He's-
really?
Yeah, he's on Ballers. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, I think that's where he's getting the money to
That's
jockey
probably.
himself into positions in Hollywood.
That's an HBO show.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he does.
It's Ballers is very famously drug-addled Entourage continued for adult males who didn't want to grow up yet.
It's football, right?
Yeah, but it's like Entourage continued.
Interesting.
Anyway,
And then
Right?
I love Entourage. I'm not gonna lie.
but Ballers
Entourage is
is
good.
like the continuation of Entourage, but it's not getting better. Like remember Entourage was kind of on the decline,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then they're
yeah,
like
and they
we're
wrapped it
gonna
up.
end it
Right.
on
And
a
they made,
good
like, 4
note,
movies.
right?
Right.
Um,
Did anybody watch the movies here?
no.
I mean, we're talking about.
No, I watched the
No.
show, but not the movies.
Okay. Yeah.
They looked bad.
Right.
James Cameron made Aquaman in the Entourage movie. Entourage universe, I should say.
Oh, sure,
Okay.
sure.
That's cool. Keep
Okay,
going.
so then that brings us to 2019. Does Jumanji 2, which I don't like.
It's okay.
Then he does Jungle Cruise, which is bad.
Yep, bad. Which is getting a sequel.
Red Notice, bad.
Bad. Well, most
It's-
popular movie on Netflix.
Yeah, it's the biggest movie ever. Then he does Black Adam, bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So it flopped. Can we cover that quickly, or do you want to?
And then the last
We're
one.
talking about all the ones that flop.
And then
We're-
that's it. That's his latest movie
Black
right now.
Adam.
Because I want to stop at Fast and Furious because that's a separate thing with the Fast and Furious franchise that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because it's interesting.
All right,
But
cool.
yeah, so that brings us up. So basically, from around 2014
Yep.
to now,
Yep.
his movies just haven't been good.
Yep.
And if they are, it's movies like Moana, where
Yep.
he's the secondary character, and that's a good story. And I honestly feel like anybody that they could have gotten for that character that like would have been a good voice actor,
Yeah.
would have fit. The Rock he's good in it. I
Yeah,
like Moana.
sure.
I'll admit that. But all those other movies, I would never turn them on ever. I tried to rewatch Jumanji, I couldn't.
I will rewatch the other guys.
But he's not really in that.
No.
do we think that the Black Adam itself flopped because Dwayne the Rock Johnson, or I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, was in it, or that most of these Marvel DC movies are sort of like, I think, a little tired?
It's both.
I think everybody's sort of tired.
It's
think
a
it's both.
little bit of both, but it's also he had a lot of influence over that production,
Okay.
and he moved it in a direction that forced it to flop. Really?
So,
Mm.
can I talk about that then? Because
Yeah, go ahead.
the DC thing bothers me. I'm sorry.
You just put
You're
the
getting quieter.
you
I
just put
see
the
it.
mic in my mouth. You're
Kevin
like,
just pushed the mic straight into Matt's open mouth.
and mouthed closer to you.
Oh Jesus! So
Okay.
DC cast Dwayne back in, I believe it was like around 2006 as Black Adam.
Yes.
This trajectory of DC. With,
They
with the-
teased it
with
in
Dwayne,
like 2015.
they've tweezed it for a lot.
teased it.
So,
Your face.
Dwayne was originally supposed to be a couple different characters, and they eventually settled on Black Adam.
Yes.
Here's the problem with him as Black Adam.
Hold on. To summarize the character of Black Adam, we've brought on expert
Oh,
on,
yeah.
on Dwayne The Rock Johnson's career, Matt Pfeifer. Matt, what's Black Adam?
Can you tell us what the plot of Black Adam is?
Yes.
yes, angry guy, big powers, not good, wants to be bad. They try stop and cannot stop, and bad guy has do good thing, then the end.
Perfect.
That's pretty close. That's
Okay.
honestly, that's
Yeah.
literally, he's a bad guy, and then he fights some good guys, and he's like, oh shit, I need to be a good guy,
And at one
he saves
point,
that.
he catches a missile.
and throws it.
Throws it
Does he
back.
throw
No,
it?
he hits it on himself, I think.
Yeah, he hits it on because
he's a baller.
crazy. Yeah, he's
Yeah, 'cause he's
baller.
like, this shit don't
So
hurt.
when it comes to the DC thing, my problem with with Dwayne being Black Adam is there's a couple things he did that I think really hurt himself when it comes to this. Is first, He refused to appear in any of the Shazam movies or let Shazam appear in his. Now, if you're not a comic book nerd like me, Shazam and Black Adam, that's it. That's the rivalry. There is no other rival for Shazam. There is no other rival for Black Adam.
They've almost got the same symbol on their chest.
Yeah, well, because they're from the same wizard.
Thank
they
you.
They have the same power
From
set.
a wizard, Matt.
And the other thing is,
You
too,
forgot that in your summary.
Yeah, you
I
forgot he's a
bad
wizard.
guy with wizard.
Wizard.
Yells Shazam, but he doesn't yell Shazam. Anyways,
He doesn't yell Shazam?
He doesn't. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Shazam does, but
Does he yell Black Adam?
I think so.
Timeout. Kenzie just left. I want to make sure Danny can get a shower, so I'm just gonna go show him where all that is. Maybe we just make a quick clip here.
Yes, I will play elevator music right.
Oh, you
Here.
should.
So with The Rock, damn it, with Dwayne, this
Yeah.
is really getting
Mr.
difficult.
Johnson, yes.
Dwayne
yes.
is getting hard.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
So with
got
DC, right? So I think he shot himself in the foot with Black Adam. Is for one, it was in development hell for the longest time.
it. Black Adam does shoot himself in the foot in the movie too, where he goes.
Yeah,
Doesn't even hurt me.
But I feel like he waited too long to get it made, and DC as a whole didn't know what they were doing with the Zack Snyder and everything, right?
I'm just imagining this character of Black Adam just like whatever comes at him, he just hits
Jesus
himself
Christ.
with it, and he's like, "It doesn't. You see what's going on?
That's kind of what he
You're
does.
outclassed
though.
here, baby. I got this." All right.
Kevin's so happy with that joke he made. He's just sitting
He's
there like,
very
giggling
happy.
to himself. He's like, hey, 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 hey.
I was so confused with what you thought was so funny. I was like, what is funny about that?
that? Keep going.
But anyways.
My brain's.
But the
I'm
other
just
thing,
going
besides
with
it being in development hell and
Yeah.
DC just see the thing is, it's not The Rock's fault that DC sucks. I mean, that was
he
it was
sold
on a,
his
it was
soul
on a,
to the
it was on a
development devil.
Yeah, it was on a downward trajectory long before Black Adam came along.
Mhm.
Problem is that Black Adam and Shazam
Yeah.
in the comics
Yep.
are rivals.
Yep.
Black Adam and Shazam fight each other all the time.
Yep.
But Dwayne refused to appear in Shazam's movies and refused to let Shazam appear in his because
I
he had
remember
enough
that.
creative control over the movie to do that.
Yep.
On top of that, he was like, I'll only do it if I can fight Superman. To my knowledge in the comic books, I think he might fight Superman once.
And lose.
And yeah, of course he's going to lose. And that's the other thing. So that right there, the lose point, let's talk about the craziness that is Dwayne's contracts for action movies.
Let's talk about it.
For those of you guys that don't know, he got his start really in the action world in Fast 5. That's when he really exploded as an action hero.
I mean,
in
The
my opinion.
Scorpion King was an action film.
I
It's
mean-
also a comedy
But I mean, when you think about
and a mythic tale.
but think about the action in Fast 5
And a
compared to all of
prequel.
his other movies. It's him driving cars and punching people and shooting people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's true.
He drives a chariot in The Scorpion King. He does
Wow.
all the
Does
things.
it have Nos?
No.
Then get out of here.
No, maybe
Get
one
outta
of maybe
here.
one of the horses is named Nas. You don't know this.
Little Nas X.
You don't
rode
know
a
this.
horse,
It
Old
could
Town Road.
it could be Big Nas.
It all comes
It
together.
all comes together.
Don't tell
Yeah.
my heart, my achy breaky heart.
Anyways, I won't.
In his contract with Fast 5, and this goes into Vin Diesel as well. Why you guys
He keeps looking at me. I don't know.
I don't know. They have a stipulation that, and this is nuts. Vin Diesel and The Rock were gonna fight, right? And as many times as The Rock hit Vin Diesel had to hit The Rock, and it had to end in a tie. They are not in their contracts, and Jason Statham has this too. They are not allowed to lose a fight on screen. They
You
can
know
either
what-
tie or win.
Do you know what that's like? That's like when you're on the playground as a kid and you're like, no, but you didn't actually hurt me because like anytime you punch me, I automatically punch you back.
Yeah.
So like it's a tie. Like you don't win.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what that's like. Do you
And-
remember that on the playground when
Oh,
kids
for
would
sure.
do that?
Yeah.
So if you keep that in mind,
It's like that, but for adults.
I can't believe that's real.
So if you keep that in mind, now look at the rest of his films that I named and think about that. Now, as a moviegoer, and this goes back to Southland Tales.
Yes.
He dies in that movie. He explodes on the.
He
on
gets
the,
blown
on,
up by
on the
a
electric
rocket launcher
Zeppelin,
shot by a kid that can't stop saying dog.
and he
yeah.
falls off an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
It's great. But when you think
That's
about
not a joke, man. That's in the
it's-
movie.
yeah, it's true.
He's
Um,
on
a
on
floating
a
ice cream
blimp
truck.
and a floating ice cream truck
Shoots a
with
rocket at
Sean
him.
William Scott in it, shaking his own hand, collapsing the fourth
Oh, he's-
dimension on itself.
And Sean William Scott was
He's
shot in the head.
floating, and this guy just finds the bazooka that they kind of like paint in the beginning of the film, and he shoots the blimp,
The electric Hindenburg.
the electric Hindenburg.
I didn't see this movie. So.
You
No, you
but
should.
now you
It
basically.
sounds pretty sick.
It's
It's
amazing.
insanity.
It's something. I'll give you a couple gummies so you can watch it.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
So But if you keep that thing in mind with his contract, moving past Fast 5,
Yes.
as a moviegoer,
Yep.
do you want to go to a movie with an action hero and not ever see him lose?
No.
Because and I mean, there's some people out there that like that, and I get it, like the God Complex steamroll that. But my thing is, if your character just can't lose, because this is what I was gonna say. If you look up to Fast 5,
Yeah.
his characters are
Yeah.
realistic action heroes.
Yep.
He does realistic action.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
takes punches, he goes down, he gets up. From Fast 5 on, he literally jumps off. I mean, in Fast and Furious 7, he jumps off a 20-story building with an explosion and lands on a car. And then in the movie time, a week later, breaks out of his own cast to then manhandle a minigun to shoot down a helicopter.
A week later.
That is not fun. That's boring.
Yeah.
That's superheroes. And
Yeah.
that's the problem with
It's
that.
lazy.
It's
Yeah, it is lazy.
Thank you. That's what
Very
it is.
lazy.
It's not boring. It's lazy.
Well,
it's
and
fun
it's
to
just,
watch, but
like,
it's lazy.
I get that it's like, he has like he's treating himself like his own IP, and he's
He is.
he's like protecting his IP,
Mhm.
right? But it's really like it's a thin line between if you're treating yourself as your own IP, it's a thin line between like contractual IP and just like pure ego
Mhm.
explosion all over whatever the project is that you're playing.
Well, it goes
And-
back
yeah.
to Fast and the Furious even more, and this is my last thing that I wanted to bring to the
Okay,
table.
cool. Yeah.
Famously,
Mhm.
Vin Diesel
Mhm.
and Dwayne
Mhm.
had a very public feud about him returning to the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yes.
So let me just paint this quick picture.
Mm.
After Fate of the Furious, Paul Walker's gone. They did Fast Furious 8. After Fast and Furious 8, The Rock's character and Jason Statham's character were popular enough that they decided to spin them off into their own movie with their own adventure, right? Hobbs and Shaw, not the best. Idris Elba is the best part of that movie, but that man is so beautiful. Yes, Kevin?
Is it called Fate of the Furious?
Yes.
And then it continued after that, even
To
though they were
F9.
fated and
All
they
right,
had a fate.
Here we go. Let's do this real quick. All
What
the
is-
Fast and Furious names of the movies off the top of my head.
Go
You
ahead.
have The Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
Too
Fa-
Fast, Too Furious.
Yes.
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Why it wasn't 3 Fast, 3 Furious, I
I
don't
don't
know.
Yep.
Fast and Furious is number 4.
That's number 4.
Fast 5.
'Kay.
Fast and Furious 6. Furious 7.
'Kay.
Fate of the Furious.
Wait, just Furious. They dropped the Fast?
Mhm.
Oh, weird.
Fate of the Furious. F9.
F9?
Just F9? Like on the keyboard?
I'm so mad that I know all these off the top of my head.
Keep going.
That's it.
And then Fast X.
And then Fast X Part 2.
Of course.
Which is like Jason X in
But-
space.
Yeah,
no one
basically.
can
They're-
hear
They've already
you
been to space. They
scream.
went to space in 9.
But they're going to go there this time for real.
I
And
hope so.
Jason X, it's going to be a crossover.
I hope so. I hope
yeah.
they cro-
the
They're-
last time they did a final movie in a series
Yeah.
and broke it up into 2 parts.
Yeah.
Hunger Games?
No.
Yeah,
Harry
that
Potter.
was Hunger Games. Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah, well, that too. I think Hunger
It
Games was
bothered-
after Harry Potter,
it-
but yes.
The concept of it
Twilight.
upsets me because you think this is it. This is the
Oh, I hate
last
part 1,
movie
part
for
2.
sure, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Oh, wait.
we got to stretch it out for 2
that's
more.
updated.
Yeah.
It's now Mission Impossible. Part 1, Part 2, Dead Reckoning.
I saw
Oh,
that.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
know.
But to be
Oh.
fair, from what I can tell, those are like 2 separate movies, but they didn't really. They're like same plot line, but like ending.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyways, so Fast and Furious. What was I saying before I went on the names? Oh, right, the feud. So him and Jason Statham.
Feud of the Furious.
Feud. That's
Keep going.
yes.
Yes.
That's like the Ted Lasso scene when he's like, "See you later," and he
Yep.
comes back and he's like, "Yes." That's how I feel right now.
Yes.
All
right,
so-
got it.
Jason Statham and Dwayne go and do their own movie, right? Everybody
Yes.
in the cast, Ludacris, Tyrese Gibson, Vin Diesel, and a couple others were like, hey, like this is a family franchise and you're making it your own thing, which
Yeah.
is super ironic because Vin Diesel's been trying to spin off his own movie for the longest time.
Yes.
But they do Hobbs and Shaw. It doesn't do well. What a surprise. So The Rock openly was like, yeah, I'm done with the Fast and Furious franchise. And Vin Diesel tweeted him, was like, my kids call you Uncle Dwayne. You need to come back to the franchise. Like made it very public and very weird
Yeah.
that like these 2 grown men that The Rock had issues with. So you guys know the story about.
But Vin was like hard to work with.
Well, I say that's
Yeah.
the story. I know it's like all over the place, but The Rock and Vin Diesel had a huge feud on Fast and Furious 8. Like they,
Yep.
like I think The Rock came out and was like, I'm tired of working with like pussyfoot actors that like don't take shit seriously, and was talking about Vin Diesel,
Damn.
or he was talking about Tyrese Gibson. And then The Rock completely annihilated Tyrese Gibson's album.
Yeah.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit. You know that audio? That's
No.
him talk. You know The Rock.
You know
There's
what
an audio-
happened was I think Vin Diesel was like, I'm going to get one more punch in this fight than you're going to get.
Maybe.
And The Rock was like, I'm not having
outta
it.
here.
I'm
But
done.
that audio where it's like it's the biggest piece of dog shit, and it's The Rock.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
him
yeah.
talking about Tyrese Gibson's album that came out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, he really ripped it apart.
So
to be
then-
fair,
Oh,
it's not a good album.
it's not. But
Nope.
to be fair, like, why are you doing
Why are you
this
being a
with
dick
the
about it?
Because honestly, the Fast and Furious franchise is the only reason that he's as big as he is.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So then it continues, right? And F9 comes out. They replace him basically with John Cena. That's
Yeah.
essentially what they did.
gets
They brought
replaced.
John Cena in to replace him
As Vin Diesel's brother.
Jacob Toretto.
Yeah, he's Vin
Spelled with a
Diesel's
K.
brother. Because Vin Diesel was like, here's a
Ah.
handsome guy who's younger than me, and he's definitely going to be a bigger action star. He's my brother.
And so
he
they
just
painted him the
can't
same
walk
color.
away
It's such
from it.
It really is just like playground politics.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
just like, well, he's my brother, so of course that's why he's
so
amazing.
good looking.
But
and...
he's gonna take one more punch in this fight than I'm gonna take.
yeah.
So then it all, like, Fast 9 comes out and everyone's like, okay, so he's gone. Like, The Rock is gone. Hobbs and Shaw 2 doesn't get greenlit even though it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yep.
Yada, yada, yada. And then what a surprise. And I called this shit from a mile away. I said it as soon as the feud happened. He's in the post-credit scene of Fast X. And the reason why, and I've said this enough on the podcast, I'm not going to do my whole spiel.
Yeah.
It's because since about 2010,
Yeah.
he's attached himself to franchises,
Okay.
replacing the lead,
Mhm.
and then that franchise tanks.
Mm.
And I can go through the examples again if you want, but I've done it probably like every episode at this point.
Mhm.
And I think that that's just absurd.
I will throw something out there.
Mm.
I think The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, took a play out of his old playbook in WWE. Now,
Mm.
did either of you watch WWE
No.
when
I
you were
did.
growing
A
up? You
little
did.
bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Do you remember the introduction of Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Like, do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
People's
yeah.
Champion,
Doesn't matter
right?
what your name is.
It doesn't matter what your name is. Yeah.
That's the only one I know.
So when he first debuted, it was in a time in WWE where if you look back on that era, it was the first time they ever tried to popularize heels. Do you guys know the term? Like a heel?
Yeah.
So
the
a heel
and
is someone
the
who's
villain.
selected to be like the bad guy
Yeah.
of a story arc,
know that.
right?
Okay.
But in the time where The Rock came out, they were popularizing heels. You had Kane, who was hunting down The Undertaker, right? And
Yeah.
he was kind of The Undertaker's heel. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin, who came in and was like, fuck everybody. I'm going to Stone Cold Stunner everybody here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. I'm the rattlesnake, right? He's coming for everybody. And he was kind of like, he wasn't like the like popular champion at first. People are like, whoa, who is this guy? Like, he's kicking everybody's ass and he doesn't care. The Rock came in around the same time. And he was a heel in a couple storylines. And I think for like Fast and the Furious and for stuff in his career, he's just like, it doesn't matter because I'm the heel, and like they'll eventually I'll be the people's champion.
Mhm.
I think with Fast X, he was like, if we have this feud, right? Because this is like WWE. If we have this feud, and then I'm in the post credits, that's like at the end of WWE where like the guy comes out and like, you know, he like helps with the pin or helps with the match at the last second.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh my God! Last minute assistance from The Rock.
Yes.
Could it be?
It's funny you mentioned.
What's going on here? This
I-
was a crazy SmackDown."
I like that analogy though because it actually leads into what I think is funny about it is that nobody knew about the feud because it was a very quick thing.
Yeah.
Like literally,
We
so
knew
this
about it.
Fast X came out this year. It's
You and I knew about it.
2023. That feud happened about 6 years ago. Nobody remembers. So to
Yeah.
put him in the post credit and everyone's like, yeah, why wasn't he in the last two movies? Like, where's he been? No, like I went on Twitter.
They had big feud.
Regretted it, but
Yeah.
I went on Twitter and some other social media sites to see what people thought, and everyone was like, "Oh, The Rock is finally back to the franchise." Like nobody
Yeah.
even knew why he left. But to continue on the problematic selection of Fast and Furious, can I say something else that I think is really funny?
Go ahead.
Mm.
So Fast X brought in Jason Momoa,
Who's the
Yes.
best?
and if you're gonna watch Fast X, it's on streaming now. Just skip to all the parts that he's in, 'cause
Yeah.
it's the best part of the movie.
I'll
Yeah.
watch the whole thing and make fun of the other parts.
Yeah, you should.
it'll be
And
great.
honestly, the rest of the movie is dog shit. But Jason Momoa is incredible. And of course, he steals the show.
Of course.
And what happens after that movie comes out? Vin Diesel's like, I don't like Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa ruined this movie. He blamed the failure of that movie on Jason Momoa.
That's ridiculous.
Imagine everyone saying the best part of this movie is Jason Momoa, and then you being mad because you hired somebody to be in your movie that outshined you, that you blame them for the failure. Yet the only reason your movie's even slightly successful is because of them.
All right.
Damn.
And that's full circle on my
I'm going to go back to what I originally said.
Yeah.
I think that The Rock is afraid of the inevitable chasm that is his career. Dwayne The Rock Johnson has just been running away from the giant chasm he originally fell into in The Scorpion King, which he thought was like a prophecy for how his career was going to go. But in doing so, he's actually manifested it a little more clearly than it ever would have been otherwise, right? I mean, let's look at Skyscraper. That was him really trying to best the idea of him falling off of something to his death.
One-legged
right?
Die Hard.
One-legged Die Hard.
Do you know anything about Skyscraper, Matt?
He's
No.
a one-legged man,
So
and he has to save his family.
He's a DEA agent that gets blown up in the beginning of the movie.
Mhm.
He loses a leg, and the
Mhm.
famous it's on the poster, and
Yep.
everyone knows this. The famous scene is he has a fake leg, and there's a crane,
Yep.
and people are taking over a building. It's
Yep.
Just think Die Hard only
Sure.
replaced Bruce Willis with The Rock, and
Sure.
he has one leg.
Okay.
He runs across this crane and jumps from the crane into the building,
yes.
and there's about, I don't know, 100 feet between them.
No, it's like 30, but it's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot.
40 feet between them.
Sure.
And yeah, and that's and then
He makes the jump.
and then he ends up like using his leg
I
to
was
like
gonna
hold
ask,
on to
is
stuff.
is the leg leg leverage?
Yep.
Is he?
That's the big moment of the movie is that his disability actually gave him an
advantage.
extra
Because he was like caught on something. He'd take his
And
leg
he-
off and he like hit him with the head. Like he hit him with
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It sounds really bad.
We should
It
watch
is
it.
bad.
Yeah.
We should watch it. We're
I
gonna
love it in
watch one bad
theaters.
movie every season. On
It's
this
really
podcast.
nice, actually. It's a nice refresher to hate watch something.
It is.
That's why The Room has this cult
Yeah.
following. Same thing with
Southland too.
Southland 2.
Cult of 1, Cult of 2 now.
Not Cult 2.
Yep.
Oh, you
Southland-
said like
just Southland
Southland
Tales.
as well.
It's just called Southland Tales. Yeah,
Southland
as
Tales.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not-
the sequel
not
is Southland
those-
Tales as
There's
well.
no sequel to Southland
Are you
Tales.
sure?
It's never
Should we make
happening.
one?
Make one.
No.
We should.
No one should make it.
All right,
no
I
one
will.
needs to get that cast back together for anything.
No, I'll recast.
It's a crazy cast, Matt. Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Amy
right? You
Poehler.
remember her? Amy
Amy
Poehler.
Poehler.
Yeah. Sherry O'Terry, John Lovitz, freaking The Rock,
Sean
William
William
Scott.
Right.
It just keeps going, man. Mandy Moore
I said,
is
there's-
in that
there's
movie.
other people that
Yeah,
pop up
it's
like
nuts.
very,
Mandy
very
Moore and
briefly.
Sarah Michelle Gellar do a weird like postmodern dance thing with The
yeah.
Rock on the blimp, and at one point, like
What is this, an orgy?
almost kind of breaking the fourth wall of the movie without directly talking to us. One of the characters goes, "What is this? Some kind of orgy?"
That's my
and you're
favorite
just like,
line.
"Oh, that's what I was thinking." Yeah, I thought this was gonna be like a weird sex thing now.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, look,
Yeah, so okay, all right. So final thoughts on The Rock, and then let's talk about something that Matt can actually chime in on.
Okay.
Because this was a wonderful episode.
it's very brief. But
okay.
I knew I wouldn't be long.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on The Rock is I think he is good if he has the right property, but I think he needs to stop chasing these over-the-top action roles because you and I talked about this off the pod,
I
Kevin.
think he just needs to get punched in the face.
Well, remember-
every once in a while,
we-
like take a hit
but
and
we talked
go
about this
down for
around,
a second.
around the time of Southland
Yeah.
Tales, like with the rundown and with Walking Tall and stuff like those are really good for him because he's a big dude
Yep.
and he's believable. But if 4 people attack him, you're like, yeah, like that's gonna be a rough fight for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna come out on top, but he's gonna get a little scuffed up.
Yeah,
And I think that The Rock fits really well into that. But now I just feel like he's always playing the same character who's like a little funny, does the eyebrow thing, over the top action, can't be defeated, saves the day. And it's like there's too many of those people out there, and I feel like The Rock could be better. That's it. I don't hate The Rock. Dwayne, if you're listening, and I know you are, you can do better. I believe in you.
yes, you can.
Be in my movie. I
Dwayne,
believe
believe
in
in
you.
yourself.
But for real, I think he could just do better.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's what it comes down to. I think
Yeah.
he could do better. I don't think he's bad. I think he picks movies that are bad, and by being in those, he looks bad.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I flip just like before. I flip my opinion.
No,
happens
you
sometimes.
still kind of don't like him.
Yeah, I
All
don't.
right, go
not
on.
that much, but hey.
Matt,
Yes.
final thoughts on The Rock.
On Mr. Johnson for you.
Yeah, I've got one. I used to follow, I guess I still sort of do, a content creator named Matt Diavella.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. He made
Okay.
the documentary about minimalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's at least most notable for.
Yeah, that's why I know
Yeah.
him.
During his come up on YouTube, he had this unreachable goal of getting. He had a podcast.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get Dwayne the Rock Johnson on the podcast, and Mr. Johnson was like Mr. Johnson's biggest fan. In the background of all of his videos, or somewhere in his videos, was this beautiful framed photo of Mr. Johnson from when he was. You know the classic internet meme photo of
Yeah,
of
with
Mr.
the,
Johnson.
with the turtleneck.
The
and
turtleneck.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that in his house somewhere.
Okay.
Now he did not get Mr. Johnson on his podcast, but it's just that's like the most relatable. That's the most relatable story that I have in my head whenever I think about Mr. Johnson. I think
Yes.
you're right, Odie. I think for the most part, I agree with what you're saying. But he still, to me, is just a deep national treasure.
Okay, but
Yeah.
see, here's the thing.
Okay,
At the
I
end of the day,
remember that.
every movie he comes out with,
Mhm.
I watch. I watched Red Notice the day it came out. I went and saw Jungle Cruise in theaters. Like I see his movies because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know if he's listening and if he's doing better, if he's trying harder.
That's like how I am with Tom Hardy.
I have no opinion about Tom Hardy.
I love Tom Hardy.
I have zero opinion.
He's amazing. My
Is he?
Yes.
He's in Black Hawk Down. One of my
He
favorite
is
movies.
amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. My final thoughts on Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I'm just glad I got you to admit that you kind of don't like him. No, it's for real. And but I do think he should take lessons from his earlier career differently
Yeah.
than how he has been, right? Because like being the heel doesn't just make you automatically popular. It was in the moments where he was in a Hell in a Cell match against 3 other people, right? And the odds were seemingly insurmountable, and he had some blood on him, right? He had gotten kicked up a little bit, right?
Sure.
And in that moment where like all the improbable things are happening during, WrestleMania, and he finally pulls out the win. That's the moment that everyone's actually cheering for him. I think if he shouldn't be feuding and trying to like impose his own will upon the projects that he's in. He should just like go into them going, "Hey, I might take a couple hits in this one." But that'll make him more likable.
Yeah.
Like I always enjoy watching someone in a movie who's like is flawed, like isn't perfect. And I feel like he's trying to create this IP of like the perfect superhero-esque actor who whatever film he's in, he's like going to be fine.
And he's
but
just destroying anybody in his path.
Well,
because
and
There's,
it
like, no
lowers
drama
the
there.
stakes,
Right,
though.
yeah. Right.
Like if you're shooting yourself in your own foot and then just smiling at the bad guys as Black Adam, like who cares anymore? Like, yeah. Like
Yeah.
he probably could avoid the snap in the Marvel universe if he was a character, right?
Oh, right.
He would have snapped back.
He would have snapped
He
back.
would have seen Thanos snap and he would have been like, no, back, reverse.
Reverse.
Like no, Josh Brolin, I'm back.
They just snap at each other for like 30 seconds. They're playing tennis. Playing tennis with snaps.
Matt, how do you like the Unpop podcast?
Oh, I love it.
All right, good.
Yes,
Yeah, I
man.
watch every day.
All right, cool.
Now you watch it?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
cameras
I
in our
wa-
house?
Matt's
Yeah, why-
watching us record.
What?
Matt watches us every day and pretends it's the podcast.
He hacks into our
He's like,
cameras.
there's Kevin making his coffee again.
No,
All
they've
right.
been asking me to tune in. I've listened to a few episodes and they're a lot of fun. It's almost like getting to hang out with you guys just like this. Which
It kind of is.
Yeah.
You almost jumped out of the car last night.
oh,
You could not handle
But
the
that's-
car ride.
That was.
We were on another
I
level.
kept leaning
so-
over to Danny in our live studio audience and saying, "This is not what the whole weekend's going to be like. I promise
Yeah,
you."
it might be.
But here we are.
Right, it might be.
Yeah. And now we're at hour 12 and it's still like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's
that
great.
was a great joke, though. I'm sorry. I stand by it.
Which
That
one?
was when I said that I was going to have John Travolta themed retirement party.
And I jumped in immediately. I'm going to be Nicolas Cage from Face Off because that's technically John
and
Travolta.
I couldn't handle it
How did you
because
not
that's
catch that?
perfect.
I was tuning
That's
the
the
fuck out,
best.
Odie.
That's peak. That is peak John Travolta humor right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will admit
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Matt, you could do his character from Paris with Love
Why?
because he has the same facial hair as you and he's bald.
You could
Say
do
it.
John
He's bald.
Travolta
Say
now.
it.
You could
Say
do,
it with your
you
chest.
could just
He's
be
bald.
John Travolta now.
You think?
He's bald, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
You could do
bald.
him from Russia with Love. Did you ever see From Russia with
That's
Love?
the movie. It's from Paris with Love, and that's the movie I
Or
literally.
from Paris. Did you say From Paris with Love?
I just said you could do the John Travolta character from Paris with Love because he has the same facial
my
hair
God.
and is bald. And then you came over here and was like, "You could be the same character from Paris with
Oh my
Love."
fucking
Not even the
God.
right
Yo.
movie.
Yo.
And I just said it.
Yo. Can we talk about what is it? Jonathan Rhys Myers in that?
Jonathan Rhys Davis.
Is it Jonathan Rhys Davies or
Why am I
Myers?
on a podcast with people that don't know
Sorry.
anything about movies?
I
Anyway,
don't know.
can we talk about how he says Carolyn in that entire movie? Because it's the best thing ever.
That's a
How
bad
does he say
movie.
He goes, Caroline.
Caroline.
The entire movie, like even in moments of intense
Mhm.
like drama and like tension, like he's just like Caroline, like, and everything else in the movie he says normal.
Yeah.
Everything else, but then for some reason he becomes like part French as soon as he says
They're
Caroline.
in
Like,
Paris.
But I know, but like his choice as an actor, his choice as an actor is I work here for the government.
Yeah.
I've been in France for a long time, so long that I have a girlfriend
And
here.
the name has a French accent.
And the name, yeah, and just her name, nothing else. Just her name has a French.
It's a bad movie from 2011.
It is a bad movie, but I also love it. I could hate watch that.
I could hate watch that.
Oh, perfect. You want to hate watch it?
I'm in.
All right.
There's a
There we go.
bazooka in that one.
Let's do.
There's a bazooka in that one too.
There is a bazooka in that one. It's great.
Oh my god.
There's also
Full
a really
circle.
dramatic scene that didn't need to be dramatic.
Yeah.
Like they definitely could have just shot the terrorists. Like,
Oh my god.
Can we talk about like the peak moment of the movie? Like they could have just shot him. Like
Yeah, that's
I
every
love that
movie, though.
movies build up tension like that, but sometimes it feels like they're like, okay, we have to figure out how to have tension here, and it's like there's none.
It's the
like,
Indiana Jones
You could have
moment.
just shot him. Like yeah.
The guy with the sword, and he just
Yeah.
like no. You know the story behind that
What?
is that
The guy
they
with the sword?
This okay, so there's that really famous scene in Indiana Jones
Yeah.
where the guy has the sword and he's like twirling it, and
It's like,
Indiana Jones just pulls out the gun and shoots him.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
want to know why that is?
What?
So they were supposed to be a giant fight.
Uh-huh.
There
Yes.
was supposed to be a sword fight between Harrison Ford and
With that guy.
Yeah,
But
Well,
he forgot his sword.
but Harrison Ford was too tired and
Yes.
didn't have his sword because they had gotten sick on set. And he's like, I don't want to do this. And they were like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, what if I just shot the guy? And they're like, all right. And then
Wait.
he was just like, that's why he looks so fed up because they had shot that scene like so many times. He's just like, ugh, bam. And that's amazing.
So good.
I
Yeah.
love,
that because
That's
that
how
makes it
gold
authentic.
is made. in
Another fun
Hollywood
fact
sometimes.
about something like that.
Yeah.
You guys seen Deadpool?
Yeah.
The original Deadpool.
Yeah, the 2016.
All of them.
So you know at the very end of that movie when he shows up and he's like, I forgot my gun bag, and he's like, we'll do this the old-fashioned way with 12 bullets and
Yeah.
maximum effort. Originally, they had planned in the budget to do a giant action scene, and it was gonna be like a giant shoot, and they had saved. That's why a lot of that movie's kind of like not very action heavy until the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they found out when they went to go film it that their budget included the advertisement budget,
Oh,
so they
no.
couldn't film the scene that way. And they were like, well, how do we do this? And they were like, what if he just doesn't have guns? Isn't that cool?
Yep.
I love that.
I just movie trivia.
Look, creative constraints.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
sometimes those
Yeah.
constraints are the things that make a movie or a scene that much better.
Yeah, just like when James Cameron tried to like drown his cast on the movie The Abyss
That was amazing,
multiple
man.
times.
Yeah, but
man's
that made
obsessed
it
with
that
water.
made it authentic
Authentically bad.
because they almost drowned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That was a good movie though.
it's all right.
It's about his ex-wife.
Dude, he was going through you can tell when directors are going through a divorce. When Steven Spielberg was going through a divorce on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, look at the female character in that movie thinking about the guy that made it going through a divorce, and it'll all make sense.
Yeah,
Really?
100%.
And then
yeah,
he ends up marrying
directors
her.
like to put a lot of their emotional baggage
Mhm.
into their films.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of like their muse.
I mean, it makes sense. My muse, my flame.
My muse is
flame.
my trauma,
It makes sense.
I guess.
What is your jam, Matt Pfeiffer? I know that we basically just brought you on here to talk at you about Dwayne the Rock Johnson for our season finale.
Are we gonna
and push
cover?
a mic in your mouth?
Are we gonna cover the fact that when you guys prepped me for this properly, you actually said we were gonna talk about coffee and crypto?
We were.
yeah.
And
Crypto
then
from
we
Apex
were watching
Legends.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and we were like, you know, it would be funny
You know,
if we just show up and we spring it on Matt that we're going to talk about Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I think
And then we actually, in the conversation, we were like, should we prep him for this?
To be fair, we
And then
came
we're
up
like,
with the idea.
nah.
I think we came up with the idea to fake you out, and then the fake idea after the original idea. I think
Yeah.
we came up with everything. They're like, what should we tell him? Oh, coffee and crypto.
Yeah.
That was like an afterthought of like, what do we tell him?
Yeah.
you guys kept actually. You know what? Now this makes a lot of sense because like yesterday when we were in the car, you guys turned and you were like, "Remember, Matt, coffee and crypto." And I was like, "Why did you say that so menacingly?"
And I even like
Yes,
hinted at The Rock
remember
yesterday too.
Specifically, we're so bad.
Yeah,
I
you
love
guys
it.
suck.
I even name dropped The Rock a few times yesterday. And I don't think anybody
I
realized.
picked it
I
up.
think
I
I know
didn't.
you did.
I was like, every time I'm like, don't blow this.
I casually did it. I casually did it. Give me some credit. Give me some credit.
Yeah, so this is a bit the whole time. I'm in the back seat of the car and you guys are literally running a bit, and I have no idea.
We're up in the front doing our best impression of Team Rocket from Pokemon, like, trying not to blow it.
I think literally.
Oh my god.
I think this whole relationship is just one big bit.
But yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So I sit down. We turn the mics on, and you guys turn and you say, "Today we're talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson."
Yes.
And I didn't flinch. I was like, "Yeah, that checks out."
The fact that you didn't say anything or move, I was like, this fucker already knows.
Oh god.
Yeah, he knows you're gonna do something
I've been around
stupid.
you fuckers long enough. I know what's happening.
Yeah. Actually, our audience member has a fond memory of Odie and I taking over the fire team chat in the game Destiny that we played to yell chaos for an entire raid.
Chaos.
Oh, my God,
That
yeah.
was
That was
amazing.
one of my favorite times we've ever had as a group. Like, yeah.
Oh, wait, okay, I got an idea.
Oh, so good.
Why don't we do
So
jams?
good.
But let's get Danny's jam too.
Yeah.
Let's go around.
Here, take my spot.
Yeah. All right. So Matt Pfeiffer, what is your jam?
Okay. So my jam right now is actually a record that Kevin introduced me to a few years ago that I requested he put on last night on our drive back. He said, "Oh, you're gonna kill the vibe." He's like, "Oh, like that. You were like low energy vibes." It's Mac Ayers.
I was tired.
Specifically are we talking records?
Well, jam is anything because I mean, my music doesn't.
Oh,
really
that's
change.
easy then.
It can even be something you're watching.
Yeah, I
No,
do
no,
race
well,
when I'm
well,
watching.
well. So there's a specific song on the record that I'm thinking of by Mac Ayers called "Summertime," and it's actually a live recording in the studio rather than like a tracked song, and it's phenomenal, and it's great for this time of year. So
Perfect.
Danny, what is your jam?
Yeah, what's your jam, Danny?
Yeah, get closer to the mic.
Yeah, you gotta get closer.
Thank you.
We just definitely thrusted Danny into the chaos that is our podcast. He just happens to be here.
Get real close to the mic.
Recently, the song that I've been, none of you will like any of my music.
oh, you don't know that.
I don't know.
Why do you say it that way? No, hype
Cause
yourself
fucking
up, man.
no
You're
one
gonna love it.
no one likes EDM.
I
Let's
like
be fair.
EDM.
Okay, you're right. I don't like EDM.
I do like
Yeah.
I don't have anything against it. I'm just not a fan.
All right, let him talk.
My song that I've been listening to a lot is called "Love Is Scary." It's by Dwilly.
Oh, I know Dooley.
I know that name, Dooley.
Dwilly.
It's you see, how I just totally fucked that up. Oh, I know Dooley.
it.
It's yeah.
Sick.
Nice. Kevin?
I gotta take this spot back. All right, you're off the podcast. Thank you.
All right, thank
You're
you.
kicked out.
And that was Danny
all right.
Bankus, everybody.
DT Bankus.
DT
Bankus,
yeah.
Danny Bankus, baby. I bet he didn't bank on having be included in that
Did you just come
part.
up with that?
I did.
Oh my
It was
God.
so funny.
This is incredible.
It's my fucking joke.
All right.
What do you mean? Kevin just said it.
I just said
For the
it,
first
Matt.
time.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Okay,
No
okay.
one's ever said
No
that
one's
joke.
ever done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, Kevin, what's your jam?
My jam this week, and I showed it to Odie yesterday.
Oh my God, I
but
love this.
My buddy Skip shared a 15-second clip of this band Thumpasaurus and their song "Struttin'," and I immediately you know how I do this, Matt. I immediately was like, "Yes, I love all of it now, please."
Okay.
just like
What kind of music?
basically, you know, what, my life is like every once in a while I just treat myself like the guy from A Clockwork Orange. Like something catches my fixation, and I just go, "Yes, I'm here for the next 3 days."
He's prying
just
his eyes
absorbing
open right
this
now with his
information.
fingers.
Yeah, they can't see it, but that's
What
you
kind
know,
of music
anyway.
is that?
It's like funk fusion.
I'm in.
It's
But
actually
aren't they
called
from,
like
Europe or
yeah, it's
something?
actually called like modern French indie jazz.
Yeah, it's
like
French indie,
yeah,
isn't there something like
you
that?
know, it's some weird shit that I'm like.
It's good though.
Yeah,
honestly.
somebody shared just enough of it that I was like, yes, this now. Like, but the song "Struttin's" amazing, and in the video, the singer Lucas has assless chaps on, and it just like it takes the song and like just brings it to the next level. And then we usually include something that we're watching,
Oh, that's usually what I do.
and as you know,
it's usually me
we were watching Hijack last night. So Hijack is kind of a jam.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of
for
a
you,
jam.
it can be. I came in
It's
the middle
fine.
of one of the episodes and was like, "This is interesting." I'll probably watch it, but
It's
it was
okay.
like episode 3 that I came in on. So
It's okay.
It's all right. I like
Yeah,
Idris
it's not
Elba.
bad. Yeah, me too.
I
I finished the Silo. That was good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Apple TV, man.
Apple
Just-
TV. Every week you mention Apple TV.
Yeah, right out of the park, man.
I'm watching, or actually, I just finished watching the second season of The Bear, which
How
is
is
Jeremy
that?
Allen White's.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's phenomenal.
I've heard.
And you've worked in the food industry.
I
Have you
know.
worked in the food industry?
I
Ruby?
have. I was a chef and a waiter.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, you'll simultaneously have post traumatic stress and
Oh, cool.
Love
like nostalgia.
I say
It's
chef,
really
I was a
nice.
because chef makes it sound like I was fancy. I was a cook.
You're a
Yeah,
cook
but-
now.
I'm a
Odie.
chef now. Thank
No,
you very
you're
much.
not.
I am the chef
All right,
of the
what's
podcast.
your jam?
So keeping in basically like how I've been every week, I didn't really listen to a lot of new music.
You listened to.
Your jam, which was great.
Yeah.
But I can't.
And then
use
what
your
else?
Answer.
Yeah, you can. You can
Um,
just say a different song by them.
Anyways, I watched. I went on a movie kick Keeping with the Wes Anderson style, I
Yes.
watched Fantastic Mr. Fox, and then I watched The French Dispatch. And I want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it another time.
French Dispatch is so
So-
good.
So
Yeah,
good because what made me want to watch The French Dispatch is the new Wonka trailer came out with Timothée Chalamet.
Yes.
Looks really good.
And Dune
Yes.
2's trailer came out, and I was like,
yes.
maybe I like Timothée Chalamet.
I do.
I do.
I do.
I didn't think I did at first, but I think he plays a young Wonka really well. I'm
Have you
excited.
seen
I'm
Dune?
so stoked. You should
No,
watch
I'm reading
Dune.
Dune right now.
You should
Oh.
watch the movie.
I love
Denis
Dune.
Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors,
Yep.
and Greg Fraser is the cinematographer.
Yep.
And he is in like if you think of like who's your favorite movies? Like who do you think is the best movie star out there?
Tom Hardy.
That is the Greg Fraser.
Oh,
like, that's Greg
Tom Hanks for sure.
Okay, then that's Greg Fraser in cinematography.
I'll stop the recording.
I think Tom Brady. Wait, he's not
I've
an actor.
talked about this. This is
Have you talked about Tom Hanks on this podcast?
yeah,
We have.
You must.
yeah.
We have.
Yes. I don't. Yes, we talked about Forrest Gump.
Oh, I hate Forrest
Yeah,
Gump.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a
cool.
giant
Yeah,
Forrest
we're on
Gump
the
guy.
same page.
Greg
with
Fraser
this.
is like the Tom Cruise of the cinematography world. He's a director of photography, and he is
Yes,
he
yes,
is
yes, yes,
above
yes,
his.
yes,
So
yes,
this is my okay.
Yes.
So if you've seen the new Batman movie that was
Yes.
directed by Matt Reeves, he shot that movie as well. In order to film
You're saying the Batman,
the
right? With
Batman,
Robert Pattinson. Yeah.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
Yes.
he knowing.
Rob
So
Pattinson.
Matt Reeves is famous for the Planet of the Apes trilogy, which is pretty good, and
Yes.
Greg Fraser has worked with him before. And in order to get the look that
Are you
they
getting all this?
wanted of the Batman, Greg Fraser went to a company he's worked with that creates lenses and was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I want to make this." And long story short, he went with this company and made custom lenses for that movie by himself. That is how good he is.
Damn.
That's like when a musician is going to record
Mhm.
a new album and they know they need a specific sound, so they get custom guitars made.
Isn't
Yep.
that like
It's really cool.
that man is my he is my like people are like, "Oh, I love these movies." Nah, Greg Fraser, man. That's the guy I like
Odie's
in Hollywood.
hero. Odie's hero.
I
I
love
love it. All right, cool. How are we ending the podcast this week, Odie?
Oh, me?
Yeah, I don't even know how to cap this thing off. I mean,
Okay.
we talked about Dwayne the Rock Johnson. We
Matt,
covered
I have
our jams.
I have a question for you, and then I have a question for Kevin.
Okay.
And that's how we can end it.
Perfect.
Okay. Matt Pfeifer,
Yes.
top 3 favorite Dave Matthews Band songs. Go.
Okay.
We are seeing Dave Matthews Band hopefully tonight.
Okay. So.
No, you are. The weather's good.
Well, we'll have to see.
The commitment. What are your top 3?
Warehouse.
Classic. Okay.
Pretty much everything from Under the Table and Dreaming.
Okay, so like song 44.
Number 44.
Yep, number 44.
Crash
That's
and Me is a
on
little
Crash.
overplayed.
That's
but
not
yeah.
on Under the Table and Dreaming.
Okay.
Yep, Under the Table and Dreaming
You
is
tell
on
I
Under
know a
the
lot
Table
about his
and
music.
Dreaming.
I can't believe
no,
this
wait,
is
Ants
your
marching.
question for me.
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
Oh my God, Jimmy thing for sure.
Oh, yep.
All
Okay.
right, follow-up question, Matt.
Yes.
This is the real question. I just
Okay.
was curious what songs I should listen to before the concert.
Yeah.
Top 3, both of you.
'Kay.
Rock movies.
I've already got mine.
I got mine.
Jumanji,
Which one?
The first
the
one.
first one,
Okay.
of course.
He's not in that. That's
Which
Robin
is
Williams,
technically
but
the
okay.
second one. We know Odie.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
And Fast 5 and
Cool.
Fast 6.
Like it. Kevin?
You just picked
You just picked two
random
Fast
things.
and Furious
movies. I
Wow,
did,
what a
yeah.
cop out.
Yeah.
Kevin?
Favorite The Rock movies? Okay. Scorpion King for sure.
Okay.
Because that was like his first
Yeah.
debut. I loved
100%.
that film's actually that movie's funnier than it is action packed, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's like a misadventure. And then the other guys.
Yep.
For sure.
That counts. Yeah.
And then my favorite movie to hate watch, Southland Tales.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Easy. Moana #1 because I mean he's in that
You love
movie and
it.
it's my favorite movie.
Yep.
That movie's so good.
Yep.
Number 2 would be Snitch.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody knows a lot about that, but it's really
Nope.
good. It's got John Berthnell. He drives a semi and it's about saving his son. That's actually really good, in my opinion.
Wait, no. He's in Get Shorty, isn't he?
I don't know.
Anyway.
And then my other one would be Faster.
Okay.
Those are 2 movies that I think The Rock really does a good job in.
Okay.
And because he's like realistic,
I'm
just
down
good
with that.
supporting cast. But honestly, it's like Moana.
All right. Let's end it on this. If
Oh, I thought I was ending.
No, I've got it now. No, I've got it now. Okay. I'm the captain.
Take it away,
I was
Captain.
just cooking up some good content.
All right,
but
so
hey.
no, this is good content.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, just go.
So
Insult me some more and go.
going with the theme of The Rock forcing himself into franchises, what is a franchise that he is not in that you would cast him in?
Twilight. They're making Twilight again. Not skipping a beat. Twilight.
Wait, they're making Twilight again?
He needs to be Edward
Who would
Cullen.
you
He needs to be Edward Cullen in the new Twilight.
What are they going to do? Make
Or-
him lighter?
Or I want him to be
Could you
Dumbledore.
imagine? He's like, I'm 18.
Or I want him to be Dumbledore in the new Harry Potter.
That would be
That's,
amazing.
the
Are they
two,
doing
that's my
a new
two
Harry
choices.
Potter?
Yeah, new one.
What are
You're
they
a
doing?
wizard,
It's gonna be
Harry.
a show
Like,
on
just-
HBO Max, I believe.
Oh, fucking
oh
there.
my God.
I'm a huge Harry
Matt,
Potter
fan.
what
Dumbledore.
franchise would you cast The Rock in?
Probably. Ooh, okay. Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who? If it's a
Legolas. Or Gimli.
Gimli. Oh,
Gimli.
Perfect.
Toss me. Oh my God. That would be
A
absolutely
really tiny
perfect.
but muscular rock just flying with an axe.
Yep.
I love that.
In sticking with our theme, I would recast him as Danny DeVito's character Frank, and It's Always Sunny.
Oh,
my God,
nice.
Yes. Well, you said franchise. I went to movies, but that's great.
That's
I
a
love-
franchise,
That's
man.
great.
All right.
That's actually that's what I've been watching.
There we
But
go.
Anyways, Matt.
Thanks
for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, let's go listen to Dave Matthews Band. I'll handle it.
It's always something that's been my theme like every